Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Kirby's Dream Land 2, where we will be this time taking a trip to the Red Canyon, where everything around us, the land, the scenery, the environment, is as red as the eye can see. So we have finally made it to World 5, and I have to say, man, speaking of of canyons, I have never made it to actually go and visit the Grand Canyon. It's actually one of the items on my bucket list that I've always wanted to do, and it may be because I am a poor millennial during this day and age, so that might be the main reason why I have not yet had the chance to do it. I have visited a lot of places, I will say. Years ago I had, when I was younger, maybe like in high school, early college, I did actually go and visit quite a few different places. I did take a vacation in South Tennessee with a few friends. Many years back, we got a cabin more than a few times, and we would rent a cabin, really deep into the woods, and it was really nice. Honestly, I did see a few bears. That was probably one of the more memorable and postcard moments, I would call it, of seeing some sights around Tennessee. I did see some mountains in West Virginia as well, so I guess I've had my fair share of scenery. I also did go to, went and saw the big arch in St. Louis, so I guess I have been to a few places, but the Grand Canyon is definitely a place I would absolutely love to see. Someday, I'm hoping, but not quite yet, so it probably won't happen anytime soon, but I'm hoping eventually it will. But enough of me and my travel wishes. We are going to focus on the Red Canyon for now, and as you can see, this environment is a little bit more, I would say, tricky to maneuver around. We have a lot of areas where we can just kind of fall into a bottomless pit, as you saw outside there. We can grab a free little one-up here. That's kind of nice. But a lot more areas, even inside this cave as well, where you see that there are, endless pits, and we can pretty much fall and die a lot easier than we were able to in the past, because obviously we're progressing throughout the game, and we have to turn up the difficulty level a little bit, since we are kind of getting to that point where it's, things are going to be essentially winding down from here on out. So, but enough of me rambling on. We're going to go ahead and finish this first stage. We finally got to the end of it. And I do believe this is the first world in the game where the stages are going to be, there's going to be a lot more of them. So we're going to have a lot more to do. We're not just going to finish this in a matter of 10 minutes, just speeding through 3 or 4 stages. We actually have, I think there's like 5 stages in this level to do. So, and then of course we have another rainbow drop as well. But first, I just want to, before we move on to the next stage, I just want to go ahead and take a moment to appreciate this awesome music in the overworld here in Red Canyon. Just felt the need to do that. I gotta say, I love the music for a lot of the levels in this game, but there's something about Red Canyon's theme that just has like a rockin' theme to it, and it really gets you hyped up and ready to kind of finish out the game, and take on all the challenges we have left to take on, because of course we have another rainbow drop we do have to find as well, somewhere within the Red Canyon. Of course we will be getting to that. We're not quite there yet, unfortunately, but we will see that as well. We will be seeing that later on. Right here we have another mini-boss. This is the first time I think we fought this guy. This is YU. He is essentially a very threatening ninja guy that is going to throw these ninja weapons at us, and we just have to do our best to avoid them. And of course he will throw this other attack at you, which essentially is like, I'm not exactly sure what that is. It looks like a little beam with a star at the end of it. But what you really want to focus on is these ninja blades right here that he's throwing at you. I guess that's what I'm going to refer to them as. You want to swallow them up with Kirby, of course, and then chuck them back at him in order to cause any damage. You cannot use those other beams he throws at you. They will just simply damage you if you get too close to him or get hit by him, of course. He is going to give us the gift of kind. Very kind of him to do so, if I must say so myself. That was kind of corny. But we are now moving on to a side-scrolling section of the stage. So With Kine, this can be pretty tricky. We do have some water here. We can use that with Kine to kind of get through this a little quicker, and I almost died right there. But yeah, just like traditional side-scrolling fashion, if you are, you know, not fast enough, you are essentially going to die very easily if you do not, you know, keep up with the pace of the scrolling that is happening before our eyes here. So, this part can get tricky. You just want to clear any obstacles that are in your path, because if you don't do so within a timely fashion, obviously that can kind of hinder your ability to get through this section. So we do have a lot of star blocks here, man. Holy crap. We have 2 1-ups. I'm going to just kind of pass on those because I don't want to take a risk of dying. I probably could have gotten them, but it's fine. I think we have plenty of extra lives at this point. We're approaching 30 extra lives, so I think that's pretty much enough to get through the rest of the game, in my opinion. But I don't know, maybe we might die, you know, 28 more times. It just depends. But this stage right here is interesting because we start off and we have 3 different ways we can actually go. There are 3 doorways. Each doorway will take you to each of the 3 of the animal friends. The top one will be Ku, the one that's located under the water will be Kine, and then the one that is lower on the ground but above land will give you Rick. So kind of nice. They give you a nice little selection there, so that way it's not, you know, just randomized, because some mini boss rooms it'll just essentially be a different animal buddy every time. However, they are nice enough to give you that little free selection there at the beginning of the stage, so not too bad. I went with Ku because he's obviously going to zip through this thing like nothing. Obviously, we have a little bit of water there, so they, you know, pretty much structure this stage to give you really the ability to use any of the animal friends, and you can kind of get through this with no problem. You know, I just ran into a bunch of spikes there, and then awesome. But kind of nice. I do like the it's almost like a pick your adventure type of style for this stage, where it's like, you know, do you want to try it airborne with Ku, or do you want to try the underwater segment with Kine, or you just want to skip on through the same with Rick? So it's kind of cool that they gave you some options there. We have a little bit of a maze here. We have a bunch of enemies kind of in our way, so we just want to make sure we clear those. So they are not a problem, because we don't like problems. We like to solve problems and not keep them around. So I'm not really sure where I was going with that, but we went ahead and cleared the stage anyhow, grabbing yet again another 1-up, and we are moving right along. So we're about halfway done with the Red Canyon already. It's pretty crazy. I mean, these I really thought some of these stages would take me a little bit longer, or I honestly thought I would die a lot more than I have already, and that really hasn't been the case. I've been doing a pretty damn good job. This is not one of the Kirby games that I've played a lot compared to some of the others. Like, Kirby's Adventure was really the one I've played probably the most out of any of the Kirby games, I would say, overall, especially the 2D games. I've, you know, obviously played some modern 3D Kirby games that are on the Switch, obviously, and you know, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, and I mean, there's an endless amount of Kirby titles I can mention here, but it's just always nice to kind of go back to the 2D games, and they just have a little bit of a different challenge, I think, than some of the modern games, where it feels like it could be too easy at times. But for now, we are going to be facing off with yet again another new mini-boss. So this is actually Captain Stitch. This guy is essentially an enlarged Gordo. Going to use the spikes around his body in order to attack you. You just have to jump over him, wait till they crash against the wall, or one of the walls, and then use that as the ammunition to strike back at him. Pretty damn easy. He's probably one of the easiest mini-bosses because his attack pattern, I believe, is exactly the same every time. I think the only other thing he can do, actually, is he will charge at you from time to time, but 9 times out of 10, he's just going to throw his spikes at you. But now we have entered another windy part of the stage here. We've seen this obviously before already, back in Iceberg, and we're doing it again. Again, not really a huge fan of these type of stages where they have the wind blowing you. I think it's kind of cool to, you know, maybe do it every now and then, or have like at least one stage that has it, but I'm just not that much of a fan of it. I think it kind of hinders a little bit of the game for me, and it I don't know, it just doesn't make it as fun for me versus just doing, like, you know, the traditional platforming around, like, the typical, you know, obstacles that you have and enemies and whatnot. But here we have a bunch of pipes that are going to be blowing out air. We're going to witness my death right here by the giant snake coming out of it. I think those guys are snakes. They're like eels or sea snakes of some kind. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but yeah, they can kind of pop out of you at the least expected times, and that right there was a great way to showcase that. But yeah, they are bringing these air currents back. well, we had the water currents back in Ripple Field, so now we're doing it in the air. So not that big of a deal here. Again, if you have enemies just like setting right there in the pipe, you just want to be careful that you're not landing directly onto them. Obviously, that's going to result in damage. Don't want to do that, so we're going to try to avoid it. We're going to see what we can do here. We have more of these little sea creatures coming out at us. I'm surprised these guys can actually survive outside of water. You would think that they would need it as like oxygen to survive or something. Like, I don't know. It's a little curious about that, but it looks like we made it to the end of the stage. We just want to get rid of these blocks. That way the Gordo can just have one hell of a time gliding all around the place. They can freely roam. They're not... they're not limited to just moving in one direction or being restricted by that damn block, so not too bad. But that's going to do it for stage 4, so it looks like we are now moving on to the final stage of Red Canyon, stage 5. This is actually going to be where our next rainbow drop is located. So this stage is a little interesting. It does have really just one requirement that you really need to have in order to reach the rainbow drop. However, before I enter stage 5, I want to actually go back into stage 3. Now, if you remember, we had at the beginning of stage 3 this free selection of all 3 animal friends. I'm going to actually grab Rick for this part. This is really not required, but I would probably recommend grabbing him anyway. Now that we have Rick, we can go ahead and enter stage 5. Upon entering stage 5, we are given the spark ability by these spark enemies, so I would highly recommend you grab these. In fact, it is actually required, believe it or not, for this next rainbow drop. So, really, you just need the spark ability. I take Rick along with me because I think he is a little bit more useful with the spark ability because not only do you have quite a bit of range on the attack, but his moving around, except obviously for the exception of being underwater, not quite as much here, but above land, he moves around a lot quicker and more efficiently, so I just like him for that reason, really alone. But the spark ability is going to be required to get to to get to the next rainbow drop where we need to get, so this guy is really creepy. These guys will just flock onto you, essentially, just follow you around all over the water. I'm doing my best not to lose the spark ability because that would really stink if I lost it. You do have to go back and get it, which they give you more guys right here, which is nice if you do, get hit in that underwater section. 2 doorways here. We're going to take the left one first. At the end of that one, you'll get a Maxim tomato. Kind of nice if you have, like low health or anything or something like that. The right door is the required path, so we're going to take that. And as you can see, we are now at that point where we are doing the vertical scrolling here. So I think I joked about this in a previous episode where I said it was going to be, we had like it was like a stage where we were, essentially moving upward like we are now, except it wasn't a vertical scrolling stage like this one is. And I kind of joked that, wouldn't it be mean if they had something like that? Well, right here it is. So believe it or not, yeah, they thought of everything. This can be a little tricky if you're slow. You just want to really move as quickly as humanly possible. Because if you don't, obviously you're going to be caught up in a jam down there and you'll probably die. If we actually go above the doorway that we see there first, there's going to be a second doorway. And this one is one of the more cleverly hidden locations because right here is, as you can see, is the next rainbow drop. And even though we don't need Rick, he was very useful. We are going to ditch him now, though, unfortunately, because I don't think we can actually get in there with him. But if we have the spark, now that we have the spark ability, we can go ahead and get rid of those blockades and get up to our 5th rainbow drop. Very nice. So I can't believe we're already at 5. That means we only have 2 more of these things to collect to, kind of get a little bit closer to that 100% completion. We still have a lot to do, a little ways to go. Again, not a super long game, so there's not a lot after this, but, enough to give us a little work that's cut out for us. So right here, we're just going to kind of fall down for the rest of the stage. They did something like this, I think, in Kirby's Adventure as well, and a couple other Kirby 2D games where you just kind of drop down. This one is this one consists of having a few blocks in your way, so it's really not that challenging. You just want to kind of get rid of those before you get down there. But that's really going to be the end of the stage. So, yeah, rainbow drop, check. Stage 5, check. which means Red Canyon is just about to be completely checked off. The only thing left to do is, of course, the boss. This one's going to be a little interesting. I'm a little nervous, not going to lie, because this may be actually the real first challenging boss of the game. Let's go. Please allow me to introduce Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright, the evilest of suns and the darkest of moons in the atmosphere. These guys are nothing to joke around with. They are pretty difficult, mainly because they attack you together. One of them will be on the ground attacking you directly, while the other will stay up in the sky attacking you airborne. Mr. Bright, once down on the ground, will blast you with his fiery punches, while Mr. Shine is going to do essentially a rollout attack, if you're familiar with Pokemon, while you are on the ground. And then the other one, of course, is going to do some sort of aerial attack. Mr. Shine is going to drop these stars that are going to come down on top of your head, and you have to use those as the ammunition to take him out. And Mr. Bright going to do some sort of little sunbeam attack from the air. So again, both of their attacks, not only airborne, but also the grounded ones, are pretty deadly. You just want to do your best to avoid them, and it looks like we're going to die very miserably right here. All right, try this again. Yeah, like I said, this can be a very difficult fight. If you have a copy ability, this can be made a little bit easier, but still, for the most part, I would say this is overall a pretty challenging boss fight. Might even be one of the most challenging in the entire game. Now, Mr. Shine's going to do that shine attack right there, where he essentially will light up just one specific section of the battlefield, and everything else around it's going to be dark. If you are not sitting in that lit up section, which can be hard to get to if he shines it in the complete opposite direction that you are sitting in, you will take damage, and it can be annoying because he can do it multiple times, and it can result in a very easy death because, again, depending on where he shines that at, you could be very far away from it, you could be very close to it. It really just depends on where you are. Once you take out one of them, you still will have to finish off the other. They each of them do have their own health, so you want to stay, you want to kind of pay attention to where that is. However, once one is dead, they will still attack you in the air, even though they won't come down on the ground. You know, the one that's remaining will be the only one that will do that. The other one will still attack you. As you can see, Mr. Bright is still attacking us, and we have already taken him down. So, kind of interesting, yeah, kind of challenging. So, you want to be, don't be so carefree if you take one of them down because your fight is still not done yet. But we finally finished both of them off. It took, a few attempts, but, in the end, we made it happen. Gonna take our nice, comfy star ride the hell out of here. JK, because we still have to come back to do the bonus chance. I'm probably going to start crying at this one because this one is a pain in the ass. So this is the bonus chance of Red Canyon. Yeah, you actually have to deal with these guys while collecting your stars. So Mr. Bright is the one that's going to be dropping the stars, and Mr. Shine is going to be the one that's attacking you on the ground directly. This bonus chance right here may give me the most hell out of any of the ones we've done so far because it's pretty damn hard, as you can see right there. Alright, try this again. This might take me multiple attempts. I'm hoping I can do this. Oh, so close. Come on. Damn it. No, no, no. Alright. We're locked in, we're all hyped up, we're fully caffeinated, we're ready to go here. Yeah, this can be kind of tricky, and the rollout attack that Mr. Shine is doing can be... It can throw you off, I'm not gonna lie. You really have to pay attention to where he's jumping at the same time as paying attention to where Mr. Bright's attacks are happening as well. Kind of annoying, yeah, this is quite a chore, but I feel good about this attempt. I think we're doing this so far. Feels like we've been in this thing for quite some time. It feels like an hour almost, but holy cow, we did it. All right, sorry, I got a little excited there. That one is probably one of the more challenging bonus chances in the entire game. And it is done. So check that one off the list if you have one, because we are moving right along here. Time to get the hell out of here. And once again, I have tricked you. No, we actually do have to return back here for one more thing. I actually forgot to do this when I was going through the stages initially, and decided to go ahead and show this off now. So, in stage 3, this is the easiest chance that you have to do this. One of the other requirements that I did not actually mention so far in this playthrough in order to get that 100% completion is to find the one and only female GUI. This is the easiest stage to do this because you have all 3 mini boss rooms right here at the beginning of the stage, so you can just kind of, consistently exit and re-enter the level as many times as you need to. So what you need to do here is get GUI to keep popping out of this bag. You have a 1 1/8 chance of it actually being a female GUI that pops out of the bag instead. Once you get the female GUI, you need to collect her. She will give you an extra 1-up, as well as a 1% mark on your 100% completion. Yeah, if you do not collect that female GUI and do everything else, you get all your rainbow drops, you complete the game in its entirety, you clear every bonus chance, and you did not collect that female GUI in the game, you will receive a 99%. So it is a weird requirement. I don't understand why it's included, but it is. Really, this can be done in a few attempts. I got lucky and actually had it happen in my 3rd try. But now that we have collected female GUI and we have that one weird requirement under our belt, this is where we stop. So next time on Let's Play Kirby's Dream Land 2, we will take on World 6. We are getting close to the end. See you then.